all for coming. Joseph Katz.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. It's my pleasure to introduce Raphi, but before that, I know I see a lot of familiar faces, but I'll just give a quick intro to KettleSpace and what we do. So KettleSpace is redefining the notion of remote work by supporting people with productive workspaces near home, along with resources you need to build strong connections, keep motivated, and trade value. We empower you to unlock the upside of remote work while avoiding the downside of work from home. Now, obviously, during this pandemic, most of our locations are closed. We hope to be opening them as soon as it is safe. But for now, we have this virtual community where you can all enjoy all those benefits. So with that said, I will introduce Raphi, who I've known for close to over 30 years, I guess, at this point. So
I had hair back then.
We are old people. Raphi is an expert, I don't use that word lightly, in search engine marketing, reputation management, digital media, and all associated fields that fall off of that. I have recommended him to companies that I've worked with and people I've done business with in the past, and it is a pleasure to have him present to the KettleSpace community today how he looks. But I think you look marvelous, but I'm not so sure about the people you're hanging out with. And with that, take it away.
Okay, I also wanted to acknowledge KettleSpace. So thank you, KettleSpace, and thank you, Mac Meyer. He's like in my center square right here. Thank you for putting this all together. So a couple of things. Just going to go through, we're going to go through everyone in the crowd right now. We've got 30 people on the call. And everyone's going to get the opportunity to introduce themselves, because I don't like going to these Zooms where you don't know the people listening. I want to know who's stalking me afterwards. You know, when someone shows up on your LinkedIn and said, this person looked at you. I'm like, how did this person get to me? But I encourage a couple of things on these Zooms. Number one, as you've heard, we're recording. So you should be smiling for the next 60 minutes. Just smile the whole entire time, okay? And one of you needs to fix your hair. And yes, it's you. Yeah, if you're thinking about it, you need to fix it. So we're gonna go through, I'm gonna give everyone 10 seconds, and then we're gonna jump into the workshop. I'm gonna give an intro to what I do and how I do it. And then we have a whole entire list of volunteers. One person, I won't name her, had volunteered originally, and she said, I didn't realize that this was being recorded for YouTube, so she took herself out of the running. If anyone else wants to take themselves out of the volunteering because it's being recorded, please let me know now. Now would be the right time to let me know. Otherwise, we're going to go through your stuff. So with that, I'm going to announce 3 names just in the order that I have it, and then 10 seconds. Who you are, what you do, 10 seconds. So first, Emma Itkes, David Klasko, Daniel Chu.
Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Emma Itkes and I work with Legal Shield, the leading provider of affordable legal and identity theft plans. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. David Klasko. It totally works much better when you take yourself off mute.
I know, I could do it pantomime style, but my name is David Klasko. I run Artly Working. We do virtual improv workshops and for team building, learning development, and stuff like that. And hopefully one day, once again, in-person improv workshops.
All right. Daniel Chu, Audrey Glover, Marty Katz. All right. Once again.
Good morning, everyone. Daniel Chu, IT service provider here in New York City, focused on information security and data protection.
Great. I'll also remind people we do have a Google Doc for people to share their information. Mac, are you going to share that? Please share that. Now, right now, it's in the chat. And the other thing that I encourage people to do during these meetings is put your LinkedIn, even though you're going to put all of your information in the Google Doc, put your LinkedIn in the chat so everyone can just immediately click on you and connect with you that way. So Audrey Glover, Marty Katz, Amy Minars.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Audrey Glover-Dictor, Glover-Dictor PL, and I work with marketing professionals who need to launch legally compliant marketing campaigns in English and Spanish. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Marty Katz, and I'm the founder of Connectors 360. I'm a marketing consultant, and I specialize in branding and messaging that supports business leaders in developing sales leads.
Thank you, Marty. Thank you for smiling. Also, you're like the perfect smiler. Is it Amy or
both? Amy or Amy, both.
All right, just as long as we don't call you late for the Zoom.
Good morning. My name is Amy Minars. I'm a producer and founder of Admission Nation. I produce gypsy, jazz, flamenco, and flamenco shows.
Cool. Desi, Victor, Christina.
Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. And what I do, I turn around burnout from executives and also bring the high performance culture in every company I work with.
Thank you very much. Victor, Christina, Renee.
Thanks, Raphi. Hi, I'm Victor Lee. And if you're working from home or out of the office and you need a fast and secure internet connection so you can stay on Raphi's and Marty's Zoom calls, please let me know. We have a super hotspot app that keeps people connected safely and securely.
Thanks, Victor. Christina, Renee, and then Mac.
Hi, I'm Christina. My company is Christina Lucia Teddy Bears. I design loveys and teddy bears as sensory toys to emphasize the love languages of children.
Thank you, Christina, for putting them in your background, finally. Renee, Mac, Ken Lang.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Renee. I'm the owner of Yoga Connection. So we're a virtual wellness service based here in New York, and we specialize in corporate yoga and meditation classes.
Mac, you want to say hi?
Hey, guys. My name's Mac, event coordinator for KettleSpace, putting on events like these to help our members out. See a couple of our hosts here today, so excited for you guys to learn from the master, Raphi.
Thank you, Mac. Mac and I talk, not daily, but definitely we talk weekly about these things. And Mac, I just wanted to thank you and thank KettleSpace for the opportunity.
Of course, thank you.
Ken Lang, Roy Fenichel, Carlos Diaz.
Hi, everyone. Ken Lang, your LinkedIn concierge. I will help bring your LinkedIn profile to the next level and definitely take advantage of the recording aspect, recording your pronunciation as well as your marketing pitch on LinkedIn. Kenneth Lang, LinkedIn concierge.
Good morning, Roy Fenichel. I bring clarity to the real estate closing process, and I'm a part-time roadie for the Raphi and Marty show.
You'll be full-time next week.
You are the winner. You are the winner. Carlos.
Okay. Carlos Diaz, Managed IT Services. We support small to medium-sized businesses.
Very good. Amy, do you have a video camera? Can you share? Or just voice? Amy Geffen.
Yep, I could share. Okay, I'm starting the video.
Okay.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Amy Geffen, Geffen Careers. I have a 5-step process to help you get the job of your dreams. I am not a recruiter.
All right, I've got Anita Rossley and Michael Beer.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Anita Haravan, All Beings Yoga. I specialize in working with folks who are recovering from injuries, have mobility challenges. I've brought my practice on virtual now and work with folks one-on-one. Thank you.
Great. Rossley, Michael Beer, and then Elizabeth Nicolosi.
Hello, Rossley here, lawyer working with startups.
Good morning, Michael Beer. I know Joseph Katz. I know Raphi. We've spoken many times in the past. I'm the go-to New York City traffic lawyer for traffic tickets, moving violations, speeding, red light, stop signs, trucking violations.
Thank you.
Hope you're back in court on Monday.
I'm sorry about that. I mean, happy for you financially. Sorry about the other people that are getting the tickets. Elizabeth, Mark Teitelbaum, and Lauren Longest.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and I work with the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund, which brings awareness and raise funds for our wounded active duty military with the invisible wounds of war, traumatic brain injury, and post-traumatic stress.
Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone.
Lauren,
Hi.
you're up. I don't know if you have video. It's just your picture.
I do, but in order to keep my 60-minute smile, I'm just going to leave my photo up there.
Ah.
He's smiling for the whole 60 minutes, but it's nice to be here. I have a COVID-created company along with my business partner. We're starting an event planning agency that's focused on connecting brands to consumers through thoughtful storytelling and solution-based strategies.
Okay, so I got a message that Mark is offline. Does that mean that you don't have camera, or you do? What about you, Ava Spoon? Are you able to share?
If I start to share, I will lose connection. I'm already getting warbly sound, so I'm missing part of the conversation. So I can't do video and audio. So,
all right. So just introduce yourself.
Yes, that's been my story with Zoom the whole time with since this plague has been among us. My name is Ava Spoon. I'm an actor and photographer, and I do different brand ambassador. I do different events, which has all been halted because of COVID.
All right, thank you very much. Let's see here. I've got Vadim Zilberman, Leah Gurley. Vadim, can you take yourself off mute, and Leah?
Hi everybody, Vadim Zilberman. I'm business law attorney in New York, helping people mitigate risk, corporate governance, growth, and all business. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Leah Gurley?
Hi, my name is Leah Gorley. I work with PrepCore, GMAT, and GRE Test Prep. We offer courses and individual tutoring and based out of Seattle, but accessible online via all over the world.
Thank you very much. Did I miss anyone? Going once, going twice, sold. All right.
All right.
We have a winner. So with that, I am going to share my screen. And let's do this. And let's do this. And let's start from here. And let's put it in presentation mode. That's not it. Okay. How do I look? Can you see my presentation?
Yep.
You're good. Yes. All right. So thank you again. Well, thank you everyone for coming. It really means a lot to me when people show up to Zoom. I'm not just saying that. I think that in this world of staying at home, working from home, and everything else, that it's important to show up. So I really appreciate everyone showing up. So last month, I gave an introduction to online reputation management, and we didn't have any volunteers or a workshop. Now this is morphed into, I'm going to give a little introduction, I'm going to breeze through my presentation, and then we're going to jump into the volunteers. If you have any questions during this time, send it, put it in the chat, and I will take a look at that momentarily. All right, so just going to go breeze through this. Who am I? What's the problem? What's Google's agenda? And why is all this so important? And then you're going to get a takeaway and a summary afterwards. So in order to get to know who I am, I could tell you who I am, but if you don't know who I am, you're going to Google me. If you want to do business with me, if you want to get to know me, you're going to Google me. So what are the first three results that come up? First three results are my LinkedIn, which is super important. BNI is a networking group, and Facebook. So I'm very active on all of these platforms. The next thing is Harry, my Twitter, a digital journal, and then a former company and client of mine. And then finally, Columbia Club, Constant Contact actually shows up, even though it says WikiLeaks. And then my videos. As you can see here, Marty Katz is on the call also. Raphi, Salem, Marty Katz, Biz Dev leaders. So video is very important because it's part of YouTube. And who owns YouTube? Anyone? Anyone? Google. Google owns YouTube. Google. So that's why it's really important for you guys to understand that. Now that's just in the organic results. But if you have images, I mean, believe it or not, I had hair 30 years ago when Joseph and I met. And if I don't want people to know that I had hair ever, then I'm going to want to curate all of my Google images. So you got to not only check out who's coming up in your organic, what's coming up in your organic search, but also in your images. And what is the problem? The problem is that companies, executives, and individuals are not always represented fairly or accurate in online media, meaning Google. Google and the media have their own agendas on how to report news and display search results. So remember, Google's agenda is to make money, just like all of us. So they have a business plan, and their business plan includes advertising sales. And if they rope you into their whole entire ecosystem, eventually they're going to get your dollars. So the question is, what is reputation management? And the answer is whatever Google says it is. Who's affected by reputation management? Why is reputation management so important? Who's affected by it? What are the outcomes, and how are these outcomes measured? And just so that everyone knows, no one can escape the mighty Google. Every single business, whether you're large or small, B2B, B2C, everyone is affected and impacted. That means all of your investments, your stock price, and even hiring. And the outcomes are more fair and balanced search results, more engagement with target audience, and increased sales leads. So that's why you want to pay attention to your reputation. And I want to give a shout out to my friend and partner, Marty Katz, for helping me with these slides. So do we think that things are completely out of control and left up to a random, artificially intelligent Google algorithm? And the answer is no. We have more power than we think. So if we go back to my Google results, remember, it's LinkedIn, my BNI, and my Facebook. I control those properties. Even though I don't own those properties, I still control those properties. So it's very important to Google yourself and then figure out what you have control over. Now, in the past, in my first presentation, I did a search for Heron Wealth, one of my clients, and we went through all of their various things, what comes up, their website, their LinkedIn, press releases, and on the right-hand side, you will see, Heron Wealth has something called a knowledge panel. And this knowledge panel is either connected to your Google My Business, or it's connected to your Wikipedia if you're a bigger company. And it's really important to understand that you can control what comes up on the page, and you can control what comes up within the page. And if you don't control it, it will control you. You always need to know your competition, and you always need to know what's on your second page. So if positive controllable content is hiding on page 2, your goal is to optimize that content to come up to page 1. Now, how important is SEO in all of this? Super important, because you not only want to optimize all of your listings, you want to optimize your website first, how many backlinks you have, your sitemap, your robots, and we're going to go into all this in the workshop session. And the answer is, if you have bad reviews, you've got to work with the system. You should never ignore bad reviews, whether it's on Yelp or Google or Facebook or Glassdoor. Always work within the sandbox and within the system. This is a really important slide. Marty and I were talking about this. Your media and your online and your offline and your paid media is so important that you need to really focus on this content. And we're going to get into this in a little more detail, but this is how important it is. Everything here affects your Google results. And then we go into the importance of calls to action. Those are CTAs on your website. Does your website have these call to actions to allow people to call you or elicit an interaction with you? And then the takeaway, I'll put this in the chat. You can download your own questionnaire that will help you guide you through everything that we're talking about. So in summary, we're going to go through everyone now. Understand the Google agenda, manage your own online reputation, create a digital marketing strategy. Your competition is already there and they're ahead of you, so it's important to get on top of it. Make sure your LinkedIn is tip-top in shape. Make sure your Google My Business is in shape. Develop a strategy and own and control multiple websites and properties. So thank you very much. That is the brief introduction. I'm going to stop sharing now. Before I get into that, before I get into the rest of the workshop, I'm going to go through the volunteers. Is anyone nervous? Is anyone nervous to volunteer? Does anyone want to quit while they're ahead? I'm not hearing anything because everyone's on mute, but that's totally okay. And here is the questionnaire that I will share with everyone. Please download it either now or later. But the first contestant on this call is Renee Kennedy. Renee Kennedy, are you there?
I'm here.
You're here. Are you nervous?
Completely.
Completely.
Was not expecting to go first.
Fantastic. So I'm going to share my screen, and the way that I share my screen is by clicking on share screen. And can everyone see here? We're in Google. Yeah, say yes. Two thumbs up. Thank you. All right, Renee Kennedy. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm going to do two things. First, I'm going to Google you. Now you have a very unique. You have a very unique last name. I've never heard of this last name of Kennedy before. Has anyone else? Just give a thumbs up or in the chat. Just let me know if you've ever heard of the Kennedy last name. So what happens when now I'm in Westchester, New York, Renee. Where are you physically located?
I'm in New York City.
You're in New York City. So look what happened. This is a really good thing. When I put in Renee Kennedy, just in my address bar, Renee Kennedy comes up. The first thing, as you should be able to see, is Renee Kennedy Yoga. You see that? So that's really good. Congratulations, you win. Now, the next thing I want to show you is your Google. Have you ever Googled yourself, Renee?
Not in a long time, so this is interesting.
This is interesting, you say. All right. So the first thing I'm going to take a look at is above the fold. I'm working on a big screen here. And the first thing is Renee Kennedy. Now, how many Renee Kennedys are there? Anyone want to guess? So I don't know, but I'm going to think a lot. Now, Renee, I'm doing this publicly and it's recorded, so good luck with your yoga practice. But your first thing is Facebook, right? And there are many Renee Kennedys. But is this you? Are you in Queens?
It is, yep.
Okay. So do you have control over your Facebook? Are you a Facebook user?
I rarely use it.
Okay. Okay. You should know that if people are Googling you, they're going to your Facebook first.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two is, do you own ReneeKennedy.com?
No, that is not me.
So that makes sense. This is an attorney at law and you're a yoga instructor. All right. Now, are you also an actress?
No.
Okay. And are any of these pictures you in the images? The second one?
Yeah.
Do you like this picture?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And then, as you can see, once again, we're only going above the fold. And then this is a LinkedIn for someone else. Do you use LinkedIn? Are you a LinkedIn user?
I do. I kind of just started using it again. I wasn't on it for like 10 years.
Good for you. Good for you. Now, so once again, it's really important that people are going to look up Renee Kennedy because they want to Google you. But This is not you. This person is in Texas, right?
Yep.
So honestly, Renee Kennedy would be something that's important for you to look at. And I would encourage you, do you own Renee Kennedy Yoga by any chance? The domain name?
I think I do. Oh, no, I don't own that one.
Okay. On this call, while right after I evaluate you and get into someone else, I want you to buy ReneeKennedyYoga.com.
Okay.
I just want you to buy it. We'll discuss what to do with it afterwards.
Okay.
But all these other people are Renee Kennedy too, and they're being looked up. So now I look up Renee Kennedy Yoga, and this is more you, right?
Yep.
So the first thing is sportsinthecity.com. Is this your company, or do you work for this company?
No, I was featured on their website at some point.
Okay, so that's important. Now that's going to be positive, but do you own prenatalYogaCenter.com? Is this you?
No, I teach for them.
Okay, next, is this you on your LinkedIn?
Yes.
So now you're beginning to understand how important LinkedIn is to your whole entire presence, because we're not just looking up Renee Kennedy, we're looking up Renee Kennedy Yoga. And I want you to have control. You don't have control over Sports in the City or Prenatal Yoga Center. Although you've been featured there, I want you to show up in the #1 spot.
Yeah.
The other thing is you've got this Yoga Connection LLC. Is this your company?
It is.
All right. Remember how we looked before and we saw the Google My Business knowledge panel?
Mm-hmm.
You need to get on top of your Google My Business, because you need to have a whole entire panel here that shows you off.
Yeah.
All right. The last thing before I go on to the next person is, because I think you're getting the idea of what you need to do just in these few moments, but also these pictures. So let's look at your images. The question is, are you happy with all these images and how they come up?
Kind of. I mean, a lot of them aren't me. One of them is very old.
Yeah.
So
I understand.
that took some work. Yeah.
So just remember, you have control over everything that you see here. All right. Any questions before we move on to the next victim? I mean, volunteer.
Rafi,
No,
Rafi,
thank you.
Rafi, can you explain how she has control over these pictures, please?
Yes. So as I was saying before, let's go back to the organic listings. When I look up Renee Kennedy Yoga, Sports in the City and Prenatal Yoga are showing up, and then your LinkedIn is showing up. These pictures are coming up in those websites. And if she had ReneeKennedyYoga.com or another domain name or another website where she had her pictures optimized, then she would be showing up. Sports in the City and Prenatal Yoga, they are tagging you in your metadata. These are all technical words, which we can talk about later. But they're using your image, and they're using the correct terminology in order to optimize to get into Google Images. You have that power too. You just need to control that place. All right, moving on. Thank you, Renee, for being a brave volunteer.
Thank you.
All right, next person I have is Rachel Schaefer. Is Rachel on the line? No. All right, but I do see Ami. Ami, are you still there? I see there's this, oh, okay. I'm like looking at your model picture, and I'm like, oh, wow, you look fantastic. And then you still look fantastic, but you weren't moving. So first things first, what do you do for a living?
I'm a producer for Gypsy Jazz Flamenco and the Flamenco Show.
Okay. So now, do people know you by your company name or your name?
Both.
Both. And what is the name of your company?
Mission Nation.
Okay.
When I tour, I use roots of flamenco.
Okay, so there are a lot of different keywords. This is why keywords are so important, that if I meet you on a Zoom call, I'm going to look up Ami Minars. Ami Minars, or how do I
Minor.
pronounce it? Minors.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So so once again, first thing I'm going to do is I am going to Google your name. And how do you look? You look good. Right? You have a unique last name. You have a unique name. It's not like Renee Kennedy, who has a very, very ubiquitous last name. So it's a little more of a challenge for her. But you're in a good position because your name is just unique. So first thing is, are you a LinkedIn user? Is this your LinkedIn profile?
Yes.
Okay. And are you a power user? Are you a LinkedIn user?
Yes.
Good. How often do you post to LinkedIn?
I have not posted during COVID.
Okay.
Before I've been posting a lot.
Ken Lang, can I recruit you to give a 10-second answer as to should she be posting during COVID? Kenneth Lang, are you still on the call? Are you still on mute? No, I don't see him. But if he were here, he would tell you it's so important for you to keep up your reputation on LinkedIn during COVID. I don't care if there's another plague or another thing. I mean, I do care, but I really want you to keep on posting because you have the #1 spot here.
Mm-hmm.
The thing to do is not lose. Do not lose this #1 spot.
Okay.
And people are going to it. The second thing is, are you an Instagram?
Yes, I stopped doing it during the COVID. I just stopped everything.
Okay, all right. Enough stopping. More posting. And then the next thing is your Facebook. This is your Facebook.
Yes.
Right. And then there is Admission Nation. So this is the name of your company, right?
Yes.
So if I Google Admission Nation. So your name is intact. You pretty much own that. But what is Admission Nation? Admission Nation is your company. And sadly, you are temporarily closed, according to your knowledge panel.
Huh, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that. You didn't know that.
No.
You mean you haven't been Googling yourself?
No.
All right. So this is super important. Why would this say that you're temporarily closed?
That I don't know.
So that is all within your Google My Business. Because that's what's feeding from this. But you need to control this.
Okay.
You need to control because people, you're losing business. Of course, you're losing business during COVID, but you need to make sure people think that you're closed, and it's super important for you to be on top of this.
Right.
All right. Getting back into Admission Nation. Once again, it's a unique name. So Admission Nation, you own the top spot, which is great. And contact. Now, who is Sarah Harbison?
I have no idea.
I have no idea either. But what you're going to do is you're going to continue posting at Admission Nation so that Sarah Harbison does not show up, so that you have control over it. All right. I think we have time for at least one more volunteer.
Thank you.
Carlos, are you still with us?
I am here. Yes, I am.
All right. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Absolutely. I'd be delighted.
Okay. So Carlos Diaz, once again, I think Carlos Diaz is, in terms of popularity, just as popular, if not more popular than Renee Kennedy.
There's quite a few of us.
Right. There's quite a few. So Carlos Diaz, we're not even going to talk about your name because it's too much.
You know, Raphi, the last time I Googled myself, it came up alien abductee. And I said, you know what, with my name, it's not the catch.
Okay. So let's talk about your business. What is the name of your company?
Vulcan Business Solutions.
Vulcan as in Spock?
Yes.
Vulcan Business Solutions. So once again, I look up Vulcan, and it's because maybe it's because you and I have talked in the past, and maybe I've looked it up before. But the good news is that as soon as I started putting in Vulcan Business Solutions started coming up. So That's a good start. So let's take a look. So Vulcan, once again, the uniqueness of your name. When I first was starting up my company in the late '90s, I met with a business mentor or advisor, and he said the uniqueness of your name will help you not only on the web, but it'll help you legally speaking also. So if I look up Vulcan Business Solutions, you're coming up number one. Now here's a little tidbit about your website. You see how 2 links are coming up right now?
Yes.
There is an opportunity for you. I'm going to go to your website very quickly. There's an opportunity for you to have more links show up. Let me throw it out. To have more than 2 links show up. And that deals with search engine optimization. The way that it is, because you got to ask yourself, why would your contact us and your company name show up over your services?
Right.
So these are all questions from a search engine optimization perspective. And once again, in the advanced workshop, we can dive deeper and deeper, but it just means that there's opportunity to optimize your website even more. And with Carlos, you're only Vulcan Business Solutions. Let me ask you something. Where are you located?
Great Neck, New York.
Great Neck, New York. So now, as you can see, Carlos is his knowledge panel is up to date. So is this a correct address, 10 Bond Street?
Yes, it is.
All right, that's great. There's a lot more that you could be doing in your Google My Business, but you win out of the last 3 volunteers. You have control over this. I'm assuming you filled out this information and you
at some point. Yes.
At some point. So you see here how your profiles say LinkedIn.
Yes.
You have an opportunity in your Google My Business to actually put up all of your other social media profiles. Now, the other part of this is that it also says people also search for. So these might or might not be your competitors. Is Hackman, Stern, Business Performance, and Hasp, do you recognize any of these companies as your competitors?
Not at all.
So you have to ask yourself, why is Google showing these that they also search for here? And they might be in the IT space and they might not. But the important thing is for you to even work on your Google My Business a little more. So knowledge panel, very important. So your website is number 1. Your knowledge panel, I would say, is number 2. But then what I love seeing is that your LinkedIn is coming up number 2. How often do you post on LinkedIn?
Daily.
Daily, very good. Why do you only have 34 followers, Carlos?
I have to look for more followers.
The more followers you have, the more you post, the more people are going to help you in your business. It's a numbers game.
I'll follow you.
I'm sorry, David?
I said we'll all follow you.
Hey, Carlos, put your LinkedIn into the chat and have people do it. Now this is a new one for me. Why do you think Zoom info is coming up? Why do you think this is coming up? Your Zoom info.
I have no idea.
Okay, so people might think that this is related to all these Zoom calls. It's actually not. This has nothing to do with Zoom, with these Zoom calls. This has to do with Zoom being a business directory. There are a lot of business directories out there. Zoom info is one. The DNB, Dun & Bradstreet, if you're not familiar. It's super important to have all of your information on these directories, like the yellow pages and everything else, up to date, simply because they're going to show up. Now, what I would like to see, once again, this is above the fold. What I'd like to see, let's go back to your website. You've got Blogger, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn all at the top. So clearly, this is important to you. The other thing I want to tell you, Carlos, is that if I have a problem and I need to call up my IT company, where's your phone number? Don't make me click on the contact us. I want your phone number to be right up here. That's
Okay.
a call to action that that everyone should learn from in any business. And then lastly, as I said, if you have your social media profile, so your LinkedIn is up there, that's great. But once again, you've got, forget about Blogger, even though you might blog daily. Twitter and Facebook are really, really important for your reputation. And I want to see, your Facebook is showing up below the fold, so that's good. But I want to see your Twitter show up here even more. So that means that you should be posting more often. Mac, Joseph, it's 10:15.
Yeah.
And we can take one more, or we can jump into Q&A. What do you say, Joseph or Mac?
There was one question that came through on the chat, which I saw, which was kind of building on my question earlier about the images. The question was, I don't remember who asked it, so I apologize, was, can you have an image removed from the search engines?
Fantastic question. So let's go back to Renee had good. Sorry, Renee, you're my guinea pig for today because you're a brave person. So Renee Kennedy Yoga, and this was also a good example. So
Amy asked the question. Amy Geffen.
All right. So Amy, we if you ask the question, Amy, I am not going to look you up unless you want me to. So I can't see the whole.
That's okay. I've searched myself and I do come up. I come up the first 3 or 4 names because I'm the only Amy Geffen basically in the United States. So I don't have a problem with that, but I do have a problem with some older photos I'd like to get rid of.
So this is my question to you, because this is being recorded for YouTube. Do you want me to use you as the example right now?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. So Renee, you're off the hook. Amy Geffen on the hook. So let's talk about this, shall we, Amy?
Yep.
So we've got this is a YouTube. Do you like this picture, and do you like the way that this is coming up?
It's not great. But these are a lot of candid photos. The only one that's really old is the 4th one. 4th from the left. That's very old.
This one. Okay.
Yeah.
So once again, using everything that we've talked about so far in today's presentation, you have control over what comes up. Google, the answer to everything that we're talking about is Google is like a river. It's over and ever flowing. So if you can replace that picture with something more up to date, Google's going to be open to that. But if you take a look at everything here, so YouTube, so how often do you post up to YouTube? How often do you create a YouTube video?
I don't deal with YouTube. I'm on LinkedIn a lot. I do my own blog. I post on LinkedIn and all that, but I've not done YouTube. When I do webinars for other organizations, they post them. They have them on their website and they post them sometimes.
Okay, so this is super important. You're telling me that you don't use YouTube, but if you want this picture replaced, and I see that Amy Geffen YouTube, over here, Amy Geffen YouTube, Amy Geffen YouTube. Guess who? Once again, this was not a trick question from before. Who owns YouTube?
Right, Google.
Google. So there's going to be a relationship between what people are searching, how it comes up in the images, in the videos, in the organic search. And my recommendation is, number one, definitely posting up to YouTube. But this picture specifically, we can get it below the fold. I mean, it'll show up unless you call up the NYSSA and say, hey, can you please take down my image? Or unless they replace it, or maybe they won't take it down, but maybe they'll say, hey, you can send us an updated picture. They might do it for you. Now, this also brings up an actually a more important question of what about legally? Legally, now, it's not a terrible thing. It's not a terrible picture and it's not hurting you. But what happens when you do have an image or a listing that is hurting you? As I was talking before, the first thing to do is try to optimize and get rid of it. But if it's hurting you, you can take legal action. So number one is get a lawyer, because I'm not a lawyer. Number two is have that lawyer send a cease and desist letter to that publication or to that website. And number three is if it's showing up on a big brand name like Twitter or LinkedIn or something, that's where the lawyers have to pull out the big guns, and you might have to hire a bigger law firm. But those are the three things to think about. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Raphi, I have another question here in the chat from Audrey
Yes.
Glover Teacher. I hope I pronounced that right.
Audrey, who happens to be a lawyer.
Question is, does it matter if my website comes up first and LinkedIn second?
Does it matter? So Audrey, you want to take yourself off mute? And did you put yourself in here? Are you in here? Can we look up your website?
Yeah, you can look up my website, and I did 18 for high. And yeah, while you were talking, I did a incognito search on Google.
Yeah.
And like you see, that's my website, that's my LinkedIn. And
Yeah.
this is a podcast that I did with Kelly. And
Yep.
here's my Florida bar. And all of these I tried to correct. But, you know, some care, some don't, some, you know, doesn't matter how many times you try to correct it, it doesn't work.
Right.
But at least the first 4 are pretty good, I
Okay.
think. So you tell me, you're the expert.
Well, what was your very specific question that you wanted to know about?
Well, you were talking about LinkedIn being good coming up first, but if my website comes up first and my LinkedIn comes up second, does that make a difference?
Yeah,
in
it
which
makes
way?
a huge difference. You have 100% control over your website. You do not have you have control over your LinkedIn profile,
Mhm.
but you do not have control over LinkedIn.com. So it's always, always, always ideal to have control over your website and to optimize your website for that to come up first. So this is in the correct order.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So I'm doing something right. Yay.
You're doing a lot of things right. So I'm going to stop sharing. And thank you very much to everyone. This is the final wrap up. The time is now 10:22. And attendees, you could share anything in the chat, and you can join us. Just a couple of announcements. We're going to be doing this monthly now. The next workshop is August 20th. So, Mac, is that sign up ready for to be put into the chat?
It'll be shared. Everyone will get after this with that Eventbrite RSVP. So if we didn't get to you this time, we'll get to you that next one.
Yes, definitely. So, so that's number one. That we're going to be doing this monthly. A couple of other things. KettleSpace. So another plug for KettleSpace. Where is the link to KettleSpace events? Can you put in? I think it's kettlespace.com/events. Matt, can you put that into the chat?
That's it. Yep.
Yeah. So there are a lot of great events. KettleSpace. KettleSpace was the answer to co-working space, to low-cost, inexpensive, affordable co-working space. And Joseph, once again, during COVID, what's the plan for people for KettleSpace?
Well, we were hoping to open up soon as New York City allows indoors for us to go into the locations we were working out of. So that'll probably be within the month, we're hoping. But right now we have the virtual community, which everyone's invited to. Events are part of it. I see a number of our hosts from other events here, which is great to see as well. We have a Slack channel. We have a directory where people can search for other members to tap for resources and get help on projects, ask for favors, etc. We know that Raphi, I was introduced recently to someone in the community to potentially work on a project together. So it's a place to make connections and get work done.
Very good. Thank you. So another thing that I will, group that I run, I'll just give a little plug, and that is to my partner, Marty Katz, for our biz dev leaders. Not only do we do these workshops on reputation management, but also branding and messaging. So we'll take a look at that. And Roy Fenichel, who is also a good friend of mine, Roy Fenichel is the president of BNI Chapter 1, and if you would like to visit us, please, we meet on Wednesday morning. So biz dev leaders, so KettleSpace has something going on every day, I believe. So definitely get involved with KettleSpace. But my biz dev leaders with Marty Katz, that's on Thursday mornings, and BNI with Roy Fenichel is on Wednesday mornings. There are a lot of other great groups out there. Audrey and I are in a number of other groups together. And I'm highly recommending, once again, get together with people on LinkedIn, get together with people on KettleSpace. There's a whole Slack, very, very active KettleSpace Slack channel that people should take a look at. And there is, later today, there's a workout and a book club. So take a look at in KettleSpace. With that, I'm going to thank everyone. It's 10:26. We've got 4 minutes left officially, but I'm glad we finished up on time. I would say I would ask Joseph and Mac, do you want to do a breakout room for 3 minutes, or leave it right here?
If I could actually just say, if everyone, I just posted a link in the chat for a survey. If you could just copy and paste that link into your browser and fill that out after the event, that would be awesome. We need the data. But yeah, thanks for joining. If anyone has any questions, maybe Raphi, people can just quickly ask some questions in these final couple minutes.
So that was an ixnay on the breakout rooms, nay?
That was an ixnay.
I don't see any other questions. So, but I do wanted to thank everyone. Obviously, there's a lot of privacy that has to do with reputation management. So some people don't necessarily want their laundry to be aired. But I do thank the volunteers that were able to brave it up. And Audrey, I see your hand is up. I don't know if you're saluting or waving, or I see you're nodding your head, but you're on mute, so I can't hear you.
No, well, I'm not saluting, but doing privacy law, they are, depending where you're from, you can ask for certain things to be taken down. Under the new, like CCPA, GDPR, SHIELD Act, you have the right to be forgotten or to take things down. Any questions, let me know.
Yeah, definitely. Once again, I can help you with your reputation online digitally, but if there is something that is negative and really hurting your business and hurting your reputation from a legal perspective, definitely talk to a lawyer. Definitely talk to Audrey. She is the expert in the advertising law space. But otherwise, talk to any other lawyers that might give you guidance if it's not specifically for advertising law. Okay. I think that's good. I think that's a wrap. So thank you very much. And I will see you on August 20th for our next workshop.
Thank you, Raphi. Appreciate your time.
All right.
Thank you everyone for coming.
Yes, don't forget to say cheese on your way out, because that is the that's the capture that we're going to have when we put up the picture. Cheese.